struggling rancher came to buy a horse, but when the girl in rags said, "Please take me instead," he couldn't walk away. Dust swirled in the dry air as the old pickup truck rolled into the rundown farm. Jacob Carter, a weathered rancher from Wyoming, stepped out, his boots hitting the ground with a tired thud. His eyes scanned the crooked fences, the sagging barn, and the handful of skinny horses grazing in a weed-filled pasture. He hadn't planned to come this far, but his own ranch was barely holding together after the worst drought in decades, and he needed a strong, affordable horse to help him keep going, something dependable, something that could save what little he had left. An old man with sunken eyes greeted him with a hesitant smile. "You Jacob? Heard you were looking for a horse," he rasped, leading Jacob toward the corral. "Ain't much left, but maybe you'll find what you need." Jacob nodded silently, his gaze fixed on the animals. Most were too old or too thin to be of any use. As he turned to leave, deciding it was a wasted trip, a small voice called out from the barn's shadow. "Mister, please. Take me instead." Jacob turned sharply. Standing there, barefoot in the dirt, was a girl, maybe 10 or 11 years old, wearing a torn dress that hung off her frame like it didn't belong to her. Her cheeks were smudged with dirt, her hair tangled and dry, but her eyes were filled with something raw. Desperation. Bravery. Hope. The old man stiffened. "Emma," he barked. "Get back inside." But Jacob stepped forward, stunned. "What did you say, sweetheart?" The girl looked up at him, shoulders trembling but voice steady. "You came for help, right? I can work. I'm fast. I clean. I know how to feed animals and fix fences. Just, please take me with you. I don't want to be here anymore." Jacob was speechless. The air suddenly felt heavier, and the quiet whinny of a horse in the distance was the only sound. He looked at the old man, whose face now burned with shame and something unspoken, guilt, maybe. "Why would you say that?" Jacob asked softly, kneeling to her level. Emma didn't cry. She didn't flinch. "Because I'm tired of being forgotten." Jacob's chest tightened. He had seen poverty, even tasted it, but something about this little girl, standing in rags and asking to be taken like a work animal, pierced him deeper than anything ever had. He stood, turning to the man. "Is she your granddaughter?" The man looked away. "She's my brother's girl. Dropped her off 3 years ago. Ain't heard from him since." "And you've been raising her like this?" Jacob asked, his voice rising. "She eats, don't she?" the man snapped. "Ain't my fault times are hard." Jacob looked down at Emma again. "I didn't come here for a child. I came for a horse. But maybe I was meant to find something else." That night, Jacob didn't drive home with a horse. He drove home with Emma in the passenger seat, holding a worn blanket and a small bag of clothes. They didn't talk much at first, but somewhere past the county line, she fell asleep, her head gently resting against the window, her face finally at peace. The first few weeks were rough. Emma didn't smile. She flinched at loud noises. She worked hard, too hard for a child. But Jacob didn't let her carry the weight alone. He taught her to ride, to plant vegetables, to sing along to country radio. Slowly, her laughter started to fill the spaces between the silence. One afternoon, while they were repairing the chicken coop, Emma turned to Jacob and said, "Why did you take me?" He paused. "Because someone needed to show you what love looks like." Years passed. The ranch began to thrive again, and so did Emma. She grew into a strong, smart, kind young woman, one who never forgot where she came from, but who never let it define her. And Jacob, once a lonely man scraping by, found in Emma the family he never knew he needed. They built a life not just on soil and sweat, but on something deeper, compassion, resilience, and the belief that no one is too broken to be loved. And in the end, it wasn't the horse that saved the ranch, it was the girl who reminded a tired old cowboy what it meant to keep going. Because sometimes, the miracle you were searching for isn't the one you came to buy, it's the one brave enough to say, "Please take me instead."